my biggest struggle in this language learning process, and I think what will be the biggest struggle for a lot of students learning a new language, is their own attitude and their own self-criticism. So I think as a tutor, it's important, and you have done this for me, Mariko-san, so I would encourage other tutors to do this, to both recognize that there will be times where their students are feeling very discouraged. You and I have talked about a couple of those instances with my own language learning, feeling discouraged, feeling like I don't really understand this language. And so as a tutor, it's very important to be able to reassure your student that they can do this, that it will come eventually. The frustration is, that the student doesn't have the ability to immerse themselves and live in this language 24 hours a day like a native speaker does. So yes, I would say that you asked me the question, I can't remember the exact words, but you were saying something about me feeling incomplete in my language study. I would say I do feel incomplete, but that is mainly driven by the fact that I have a higher, I guess, dream or ambition of speaking this language very fluently. And that's not true. That I'd like to be able to get there. But it will come with time. As you and I have talked about in our sessions, it's a slow process, but it will get there eventually. So I would offer that up to tutors to be prepared to help reassure your students that they can do this. Because we're going through that right now.
And it will last, trust me, Steven-san, it will last forever. So you will never feel complete. That's a sign that we can improve. That's the sign that we can become better over time. So 一番そこが楽しいよね。It's a challenge that we can never overcome, which is very interesting and challenging. And also discouraging だけど、でも楽しい。とても楽しい。If you have higher expectation to yourself, in yourself, and if you're pursuing for that proficiency, then the mountain peak will be very high. And as you climb up the mountain more and more, you will recognize that the mountain was actually higher than you've expected.
確かに。
You feel that?
はい、そうです。Yes. So I'm trying to do, a little bit of everything in terms of my Japanese study right now. I'm trying to study, the written language as well as the spoken language, because, of course, Japanese native speakers understand that, there are, I guess, rules that you follow when you're writing Japanese as a language versus when you're speaking it. And even within the spoken language with, keigo and teinego, there are different categories of speech even within the spoken language. And, we have similar ideas and concepts in English, but not quite the same way as there are in Japanese. And so studying that, studying the kanji, of course, and I'm about maybe 220, 230 kanji characters at this point. But I mean, you're talking about everyday use kanji, joyo kanji, library or collection of everyday use kanji characters, which is maybe, somewhere around 2,000 plus, 2 phonetic alphabets or syllabaries in hiragana and katakana versus 26 characters in that we use in English. So
alphabet.
Yes. So a lot more. So yes, again, your question was, or your comment was, you think you're doing a good job, you think you're progressing, and then you do hit, a realization that maybe it's not so severe that you don't think you're doing a good job, but you realize you have a lot farther to go than you thought. That's absolutely true. And you tutors with students, your students will also probably express this at some point as well.
So I personally believe that my own obstacle that I faced over when I lived abroad or pursuing for my degree in college or even just learning the language, English, and also I used to take French lessons. So those depressive moments is a charm that really so that I can harmonize with the students suffer as well. And I can understand fully in depth because I have experienced the same feeling and same depression over my persuasion of the language. So とっても良かったですね。それは良かったこと。It's a treasure for me.
And also, I mean,
treasure. はい、どうぞ。
I was just going to say, so again, for any tutors who are watching this, again, I would imagine that if you are in this master class and you're learning how to teach Japanese, it would stand to reason that you do know a second language yourself, probably English in this case. So feel free with your students to use, your own experience learning English to inspire your student, because there will be times where they feel like they just can't get this. They may be, considering quitting the language learning process, and these are times where you as an instructor can reflect on your experience learning the English language or whatever language it is that your student speaks that you're sharing as they're learning Japanese. Think about those times where you felt like you were never going to understand this language, and please share that with them and help them realize that as difficult as it is, they're not alone in this struggle.
本当に大事だよね。
はい。
ありがとう、スティーブンさん。とても大事なことです。
こちらこそありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。
こちらこそこれからもよろしくお願いします。